All right, so I'm not happy with Instagram. It's not. Oh, there it goes. Okay,
There you go.
there we
Talking to
go.
this.
All right, now we're live on Instagram. All right, guys. Hey, so as usual, we are 7:30 ish, right? 7:30 ish. This is pretty good. It's only 5 minutes after 7:30, so we're actually ahead of the curve on this one. Uh Man, I guess what we can first talk about is last weekend, right? So
Yeah.
we had our. If you guys missed it, we had our 2 day inaugural 2 day Coastal Bend Preseason Kickoff show that we partnered with Al Wilford Chevrolet's Brian and Zach Soliso. They kind of took care of us and allowed us to go live out of the dealership, which was cool, right? That was neat. It was something we hadn't done, and we were kind of learning on the fly with how that worked with the software, and so we had a couple hiccups, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, once we figured it out, our I don't know, would you call him our show producer now? What would you call him? Would you call him our
I go with
buddy?
show producer's fair. It kind of stings, right? Because that was Kat's job, right?
It was,
Oh
but
man, I'll give Blake credit, man. From where we met, when we met Blake, I met him at Buck Stadium, 3 years ago now. Seems like
it
to
may
where
be
he's
longer.
gotten now. No, it's been about 3 years, I think. Just somewhere in there, man. The platform he's put out with the quality of photos he's taken and the video work he's doing now, and then just obviously running that show for us last week, and then even having a little sidebar commentary in there with his question that he asked, I felt like was really good, and I think Blake did a good job for us, and I think it's kind of exciting because I didn't realize the potential that element could bring to the show,
Yeah,
and the first day I was kind of floored by how it went, and then after I felt like day two was really good. Um, Content that was able to get put out there, and just the quality of the people and the work that was done last weekend, I felt like was really good. And I don't know, it was kind of exciting for us because that was a step that we had talked about 2 years ago, and we just never really
yeah,
figure out really quite how to do that yet. But it opens up a lot of channels for us for sure. So it opens up a lot of channels for the kids and the coach of the Coastal Bend too as well. So I think that's exciting as we move forward.
yeah. So and I want to say thank you to all those coaches and the players that came out, took time out of their weekend. Right, it was Friday and Saturday. A lot of their last free weekends before they started school and started 2 days and stuff. So again, thank you to everybody that came out, and you teams that didn't come out. We're doing it again next year. Now, if you were
Yeah.
kind of hesitant on what we were about and what we did, go back and see the content and see that I think we're pretty legit. Some of the coaches were surprised by the setup, right?
Yeah.
They were like, "Wow, this is like professional," and we pride ourselves. I mean, look, we've come a long way, guys. If you guys have been listening since 2018, we've come a long way, and
Yeah.
this is just another step. So we're kind of playing with things to maybe take the show mobile, to some of our games of the week. That if we can, if internet connection is everything, right? If we can get a solid internet connection, I mean, we could do pregame shows at our games of the week. Set up there 10 minutes, 15 minutes before the game kicks off, talk, do interviews, and bam, get rolling, start getting the content out after that. So it's just something we're playing with. Hopefully we can pull it off. But yeah, Blake came in clutch
Yeah.
last
Uh,
weekend.
no, you hit the nail on the head, dude. It is kind of crazy when you think about it. We were talking about, I think me and Kinsey were talking about it. All right, me and some friends were talking about it the other day. And I said, man, I was like, people don't understand. Like when we first started this, because I always get asked, if it's amazing that year seven, I still have kind of friends or like people that I meet within the last year or two. They're like, Kinsey's always like, well, yeah, he's got a podcast. He's got to go. He partakes in that come football season because they'll ask about schedule or just trying to plan stuff with us. And she said, no, he's been doing this podcast, and they get blown away. They're like, well, I had no idea he did that. I was like, yeah. And then they start asking, how'd they get going? And I was like, I'm telling you, I was like, we did it guerrilla style. We were on a 4-seat table with a recorder, mics,
That,
headsets, and banging out 2 shows a week at 5 a.m., sometimes 6 o'clock in the evening. I was like on the verge of divorce, probably. We didn't even know. And to where it went last week, right, and where we're at now, is pretty crazy. And also, we forgot to put the disclaimer out. Spectrum's doing
oh
updates in
yeah,
my area, so if I fall off, it's you start calling them because I'm getting upset as well. So
yeah.
just this small disclaimer. for the show.
Yeah. We forgot that we should have led with that. Yeah. So Justin's internet's going in and out. So if he dips out, we have a very special guest coming on who'll be able to take the wings until Justin can come back in. But guys, I mean, give us your feedback. I mean, tell us how you thought it went. Things you liked, things you didn't like, things you would like to see changed. You know,
Yep.
we're an open book, guys. I mean, we can and we take constructive criticism very well, or any ideas. You know, we're not very well. I guess we can be a little headstrong with some things, but when it comes to the show, we want what's best for you guys. So if you got some ideas that would come up that would help benefit the kids and the programs, and shoot them our way. You got our email, you got our Twitter.
Yep.
You can DM us on Facebook. I mean, everything, whatever. Hey, one more thing before we get our guest in. Did you see Blake's sit and hype video?
No, I didn't know this. I knew he'd show me the stills and some of the videos of it, but he hasn't actually showed me the video.
So let me pull it up real quick. I'm gonna have to turn. I'm gonna have to change my speakers here real quick because the way it works, it's
Hey, you need to tell these people what you've been doing, dude. That's what you need to. That's what you need to inform the people of, dude. Because you're putting the show on the line every time you drop in a bowl, dude. I'm just letting y'all know right now, dude. He talks about mobile shows, but he could be in a cast or in a wheelchair in the next like 2 months if he keeps this new take on his youth again. Let me know.
I'm a man of many interests. You know, I do a lot. I host a high school football podcast with Justin. I'm a bourbon guy. I collect bourbon. You call me a tater, whatever. I do the bourbon thing, and I've recently picked up skateboarding again.
Skate or die.
So I went out. So we went to California for 2 weeks back in July. Me and the family. It was my son's graduation trip. That's what he wanted for his graduation. He wanted to take a trip to California. So we road tripped it. Drove 5,000 miles total in 2 weeks, there and back and everywhere in between. Saw the Grand Canyon. Went to Roswell. Saw the alien stuff. Saw this giant crater in the ground in Arizona. I just saw that. And then we started in San Diego and worked our way up the coast, right? And one of the things I saw before we went, like I said, I used to skate a lot in junior high and early high school, late '80s. So this is like Bones Brigade era for you old guys, right? Like me. I'm 47, right? And we were stopping in Santa Cruz, and that's the NHS factory is there, which is the Santa Cruz skateboarding headquarters, and they offered tours, right? Guided tours, right? Private guided tours. And here's the best part: it was free, right? And we got paired with the licensing director who's worked at Santa Cruz for like 30 something years, knows all these professional skaters, still skates, essentially never worked a day in his life, right? Because they say if you do what you love, it's not work. Guy's been worked in the snowboard division, lived in Switzerland for like 3 years with Santa Cruz. I mean, the guy was Paul Merrill is his name, knew everything, right? And so we went through this tour. We were there for like an hour, maybe 2 hours. So after the tour of the museum, you know, took us upstairs, right, to their offices and showed all the neat stuff that they have, the stuff that they've been working on. I don't know if any of you guys are skateboarders or into skateboarding collecting or anything like that, but so Santa Cruz does this cool stuff, right? They do these drops. So November is like the Godzilla drop. They're going to do all these Godzilla decks based on a bunch of classic designs that they had back in the 80s and 90s. We got to see those, right? So I don't know. So we got to see those and saw what they look like. So we're probably going to buy those, hang them on a wall or something. But and we also went surfing, right? Me and my son caught our first waves in San Diego, which was really cool. And we get back, and my daughter bought a skateboard. She was so stoked by the tour of the museum. We went to this skate shop there in Santa Cruz because you can't buy anything at the warehouse, and we bought her skateboard. So she's been skating around. So all three of us are skating, and I just went. I bought an old man board, put it together, and I just said I was just gonna kind of putt around on it and just kind of cruise and stuff like that. But dude, you get out there and you think you're like, oh, I can still do this. I've had a couple of falls, not nothing too bad. I bruised my back pretty good because I fell in a wheel, and it took me out for like 3 or 4 days. But yeah, so I'm skateboarding again. I was at Cole Park today. And I was skating the bowls a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Just kind of carving around the bowls a little bit. And
Who's
just kind of
videoing you?
Julian.
Oh, okay.
So Julian will take a break and he'll make a video, and he doesn't want to get recorded because he's still kind of getting his feet wet with everything. So yeah, I'm skateboarding now, so I'm trying not to hurt myself.
Hey, make sure he gets all the slips and falls, and you can make us one of those. What they Bones Brigade used to do, the ones where it was like the wipeouts. They put
The slams. Yeah, the
yeah, they put
slams.
a montage together all the slams. That's what you need right there, dude.
Dude, yeah. So I even thought, dude, like, so that's the other thing, right? We're creative. We're creatives, right? We're influencers, right? If you want, I've even thought about starting an old man skate page or an account and just make my reels and just kind of me falling and stuff like that. So we'll see. Stand by. I'll let you guys know on what's gonna happen. But anyway, so back to Blake's thing, right? So let me pull this up and let me fix the speakers here real quick. Here we go. Which is right.
I just want to put it out there. I normally encourage his.
I think that's right. Okay, let me know if not, then I will go and.
Not one of them, Becca. I didn't encourage this.
Can you hear it, Justin?
Yeah, I got it.
Can you hear it, Justin? Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
Yeah, I said it, we are. This is Rock Nation. Pledge your allegiance.
Who's gonna run this town tonight? Who's gonna run this town? We gonna run this town.
Yeah. So our friends are cooler than yours. That's the story. But yeah, so that was a good one, Blake. Good job. All right. So without further ado, we're gonna bring our very special guest in, and it is if you guys have noticed on Facebook lately, there's a lot of posts about this peanut butter bowl, and it's been going on here like what, the last 3 seasons, maybe three.
Yeah, probably about 3 years. I think was 3 years ago when we saw it pop up. I think it was like the San Antonio teams. I want to say
Well, we've
Seguin
had a
maybe
couple.
or New Braunfels Canyon. Somewhere in there, we saw kind of the
Yeah,
beginning.
and it may have been around longer, but we're kind of new to it, so it was new to us, right? And we wanted to know a little more about it, and we know when we shared some of these posts, we got a lot of feedback, a lot of good feedback, and a lot of shares off it. I think Beeville is doing one. It was an orange team, maybe it was Beeville.
I believe Portland and
Yeah,
Flower
and I
Bluff
think
do one
Carroll is
now.
doing one this year, and maybe San Diego.
It's definitely
Yeah,
big in
maybe
the
San
coastal bend
Diego. I know
now.
Odom did one a few years back. But without further ado, we're going to bring in Mr. Steve Teel, who is the guru or the mind behind the peanut butter bowl. So let's give him a round of applause. You're not going to be able to hear it, Steve, but they're clapping for you. Trust me.
That's awesome, man. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you, Steve?
Man, I'm having
Good.
fun. Want to see these skateboarding slams. Well, I gotta-
They'll come. They'll come eventually, right?
that's awesome, man. I admire that you can skateboard. I never could as a kid. I had some hand-eye coordination ability, but balance was one thing I didn't have. So I think that's pretty amazing that you're doing that at your young age of 47. Way to go, Jacob.
Yeah, hey, I'm trying, right? And I'm getting a lot of comments that, oh, you're going through a midlife crisis. I'm like, no, man. I'm you only get one life, right? I mean, it's like Eminem said, right? Right? And so
That's right.
I'm living my life. And like Rihanna said too, right? So
Hey, if your midlife is 47, then you're doing all right, man. You're going to be well into your 90s still skating, Jacob. So it's going to be good.
Oh well, thanks, Steve. Thanks, Steve. So Steve, give us a little background on yourself. I mean, we've
Yeah.
never really talked. We talked through IM, so this is the first time that we are all meeting, all you guys and us here, right? So give us your background.
Yeah, well, first of all, I love sports and love football, college football, Texas high school football, all those things. And man, I grew up an Army brat. We moved to San Antonio area back 30 years ago or so. And about 6 years ago, we moved to New Braunfels. And you talked about, if work is fun, if you like what you're doing, it's not work. I get to do all the fun things. So in my mind, it's probably not everybody else's, decision or what they'd want to do, but I'm living a dream.
It sounds like it. So where? I mean, what do you do? But I mean, this is a side thing for you, right? This isn't your full time, or is it your full time gig?
So my full-time thing is called Very Bold Ministries. So that's what's behind me. I don't know if it's backwards to viewers, but it's Very Bold Ministries, and we get to do several different things. So we're a nonprofit 501c3, and I get to work with coaches. We do it's called Coaches Outreach, Bible studies with coaches, mostly in San Antonio for me, and one in New Braunfels. So I just respect what coaches are doing and the difference makers they are. So, and I just get to work real closely with them. I do a radio and podcast show in San Antonio. So I love watching what you guys are doing. Picking up on how you guys are doing it. And I've been doing that for several years. And my basic audience for that, or my basic interview, is usually like Christian difference makers. I'm coming from a faith element. That's really important to me. And then I was in San Antonio, we had a hockey team, the Spurs owned. They were called the Rampage. Yep. And they're no longer in San Antonio. The Spurs sold them to Las Vegas. But I got to be the chaplain for that team for a couple of years, which was cool. And then some of those athletes, when the Rampage moved out, I kind of count them as my friends, but I'm like their personal chaplain. So, and then Peanut Butter Bowl, of course, and then we do some things with music that will be coming out pretty soon too. So I'm living the dream, gentlemen, living it.
Definitely. And in my eyes, anything to do with sports, and if you can be employed that way, it's a win.
Yeah, definitely a win. So, and Peanut Butter Bowl, it's pretty crazy to me. I mean, we started, I love what you guys were talking about. You're right. We came to Coastal Bend back in 2021 with just 3 schools. And in 2023, maybe it's 2022, actually, we came down there. But we've got 7 different schools that are participating, and we're really excited. So for me, it's perfect because I have coaches that are friends. I want to help people out, but I'm not ever, I don't feel like God is ever going to call me to have a food pantry, but instead, I got relationships and friendships with all these coaches. And then we find organizations that are doing a great job of feeding people that are in need. And we just kind of align the resources. And then it's just a blast. It's just a lot of fun.
How long has the Peanut Butter Bowl been going on?
Yeah, so we started in 2016, Justin. We had one of my best friends was a head coach at San Antonio Johnson. And then I used to be a youth pastor, and really good friend. Of course, he grew up and everything. He was the head football coach at Brandeis. And so this is how it started. And you got to understand, the head football coach at Brandeis, he played for that coach that was at Johnson when he was a kid. So it was real tricky because I love both Coach Ritteman, who was at Johnson, and Coach Fleener, who was at Brandeis. Me and my wife showed up, and the first half we saw Coach Ritteman's wife, and we were sitting on the Johnson side, and she said, you chose right. And I said, well, hold on. The second half, we're going to the other side. And I was the Coach Fleener. It was his first head coaching game ever. He had been offensive coordinator at Allen with Kyler Murray, and not just Kyler Murray, but a bunch of other studs. And so he had won literally 50 games in a row as offensive coordinator, but now he's a head coach. Nobody really cares about the rings. And so he lost, Justin, to his mentor, and he's 0-1. I mean, nobody cares anymore. Kyler Murray, any of that. You're 0-1. And so I saw him after the game, and I'm like, man, I'm so proud of you. But he was so disappointed. Not only did he lose, which he doesn't even remember how to lose at this point, he loses to his mentor. I mean, it's just tough. So fast forward about 6 months later, I'm about to start my radio show and podcast. And the first interview we're doing is with a ministry that provides food for people. And I'm getting a tour, and all of a sudden I see all this peanut butter, and I say, what is that for? And I feel like, and guys, if you talk to me long enough, you're going to realize I'm not very bright. I feel like God gave me an idea like on the spot, because I just had this idea, and it wasn't mine. It was peanut butter bowl. And in my head, I knew I'd go to Coach Rittiman. I go to Coach Fleener. I'd say, hey, you guys play each other the first game of the year. Every year, could you call your game Peanut Butter Bowl? And then we'll collect peanut butter. And then at the end of the game, one of you is still going to be disappointed, but we'll be able to say, hey, we did something good. And because we did that, we all win. And so the idea was that I wanted those two schools kind of to own it for about 3 years or so. And then we started to expand. So I wanted them to, just feel ownership about it. But the goal was always that then we would involve other schools. And so 2019, we involved just a handful more. 2020, even during the COVID year, we just involved a few more. And then 2021, we started to kind of accelerate. And all the growth, honestly, has come from coaches. So this Coach Rittiman is now at Alamo Heights. And I'll stop so you can ask another question. But this coach at Alamo Heights, Rittiman, his friendship, but also his leadership, he will reach out to coaches and say, hey, they've heard that about Peanut Butter Bowl. So he's just like, you want to do Peanut Butter Bowl? And most of the time, I mean, coaches, these guys, they're good men, and they want to care about their community. They want to teach kids about the value of giving back. So they just usually say yes. Not always, but usually they say yes. And then I want to shout out another coach in South San Antonio, Coach Barone. He also reached out to a bunch of coaches kind of in South San Antonio and the South Side and said, hey, we should do this too. So he brought on more coaches. The way we came to Corpus Christi was, and I'm almost done for real,
you're doing all the heavy lifting here, Steve.
You're doing good here.
This is what we like.
Yeah, keep rolling. Less questions for us.
Yep.
I love it. If we run out of things to talk about, then I want to see those videos of those slams. But anyway, we just rolled it up there. Man, that Sydney Pirates video was tight. That was really nice. But anyway, the way we grew into Corpus Christi and Coastal Bend was Coach Rittiman reached out to, I call him the godfather of coaches in Laredo, David Sanchez. And he just reached out to him and said, would you do a peanut butter bowl? And Coach Sanchez is like, he just involved every school in Laredo. So all of a sudden there were 7 schools. I was like, man, why'd you do that? Like, you could have just kept it for yourself. He's like, nah, that's not how we do it. We do it together. So Nixon was playing Ray. And so that's how we got into Corpus Christi right there. And then also across the street from where I live, my good friend, Coach Travis Bush, who I've seen has been on your show, they were going down to play Vets Memorial. And so that was another way.
Yep. That was,
we talked about that game at length. Seguin, right? Correct.
No, that was when he was at Canyon.
Oh, at Canyon.
Yeah, remember, Vets was leading. I think Vets was leading that game, and then Canyon pulled it out at the end. I think. Yes. If I remember right. That was a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was a couple years ago. Game off, I believe.
Yeah.
That was up in San Antonio, no? Or was that down here?
It was in New Braunfels.
Okay, cool, man. That's
I missed that game.
That's
sorry, Justin.
Am I cutting out, dude? Is my internet going out again?
No, you're fine. We're just kind of all talking over each other, so we're just excited. It's okay.
Yeah. No, hey, man. You left me speechless.
That's Steve. Yeah. You got to write that down.
No, that's crazy. That's wow. I didn't realize it. I like the background on that, the history, right? You gave. It's kind of neat. You heard us rambling about the where we started at to where we become, and it's getting big down here. With what we got going on in the Coastal Bend, and first off, I'm a big peanut butter fan. If you can't tell, so there you go.
Hey, which one though? Creamy or crunchy, and which brand?
I normally go with Jif Natural Creamy.
All right, gotcha. Yeah, gotcha.
They used to have one, dude. I would go crazy for this one. It was Peter Pan, and it was whipped. It was like scooping marshmallow fluff. And
Really?
then it just disappeared. It's gone now. You don't see it anymore. I think the last time I got it was probably 5 or 6 years ago, dude. But
Wow.
it was delicious, dude.
Thanks a lot,
Expensive,
COVID.
but delicious. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, COVID.
That's funny.
No, so what exactly does where does the peanut butter go? I guess if
Hang on. Hey, let me squeeze one in before we go that far. Why peanut butter? Why not like a canned food drive? Why?
Yeah.
It's all peanut butter, dude.
That is true, but I've got a little bit more of an answer to that. That is true. I'm not very smart, so when I saw that peanut butter, it really did come together. And I remember one of the coaches, he was at Johnson in San Antonio at the time, Blaine Peterson. Now he's at Madison, and I remember hearing later, like Coach Ritteman said, we're going to do, and he didn't tell them that we're going to collect, all this food and everything, all the peanut butter. So he just said, hey, we're going to do the peanut butter bowl. And Coach Peterson said, peanut butter bowl, what? Like that. And I told him later, I was like, peanut butter bowl doesn't sound tough enough. I mean, you got the Rose Bowl. That doesn't sound like a tough man's game. You got the Sugar Bowl. That doesn't sound like a tough man's game. So, he was joking around, and he just said, yeah, I didn't know we were going to feed the world on it. But one of the benefits, of course, is most coaches will keep peanut butter in their drawer. When they're working all day, at least the coaches I talk to, they're like, man, they just go for a scoop. So it kind of works with football on that level. And then a lot of schools where, any kids, but kids that don't have all the food they need at home, coaches sometimes just put out peanut butter and jelly, and just so those kids get that protein that they need. Peanut butter also happens to have a long shelf life. And it's just it's like packed with protein, and it could feed a family. It can really just go far. So that's a part of the reason. And then the reason we don't do it as hey, buy this, buy that is, I'm doing it for the simple person, like a simple man. You go to the store. If you tell me to go buy a canned food, first of all, I might think go to the pantry and use some old peas I'm not going to eat. Second of all, if I go to the store,
which is what usually happens, right? You're right. You're right. This is corn medley, gross, right? Okay.
That's exactly it. So this way, we're just I just call it kind of laser focused, so you don't have to think about, because otherwise you go to the store and you're like, which one should I buy? Which one should I do? This is real simple, just peanut butter, keep it nice and easy. And then we have online donations. And so, we'll get to Justin's question in a minute, but it kind of carries over. But online donations at $2 a jar. And then we just give the money to whatever organization is tied in with that school and that area. So mostly right now down at the Coastal Bend, we do the peanut butter, and any donations online go to the Coastal Bend Food Bank. We had, just to give an example, I want to give a quick example of a coach, just the coach's mentality. We had a coach a couple of years ago down in the Golden Crescent area, and he was playing one of the San Antonio schools. And so the San Antonio coach, I think it was Coach Stade at Taft, he reached out to his Coach Gonzalez, who was at Victoria East at the time. And he said, hey, we do this thing, peanut butter, and we collect peanut butter for kids. Will you do this? And so this is what I'm talking about, the heart of coaches. Coach Gonzalez was like, yeah, of course. He didn't even ask any questions. He thought that Victoria East, when they collected peanut butter, that would have to go to San Antonio. He was like, how am I going to get it on the bus to get it to San Antonio? And we said, no, the idea always, that's the heart though. Big heart. So, and he was still going to do it for somebody else, but we said, no, it goes to Victoria right there. And so whatever community you are, we have a hunger relief coordinator that tries to tie in with your local hunger relief organization. They love it because it also raises awareness that, man, there are people in need. There are not just kids, but families that aren't eating enough food. And a lot of these kids, I was at a high school today. It just looks like a college campus. It's beautiful. And they're doing a peanut butter bowl, which is awesome. But it's hard to imagine that those kids know that there are kids in the community that are going hungry, and they can use something they love, which is football, use it as a platform to give back. And that's what we're doing.
That's crazy
Did that answer
because
your question? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it did for sure. I guess my next question on that is, what's the most peanut butter y'all well, before we get into that,
Yeah, no, that's a good question.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have like a trophy or something, right? Or there's
We do.
right? Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Justin. Go ahead.
No. I will say this: the platform that you threw out there about the people not realizing that the people of need of that are hungry and whatnot, and the food. I think my aunt was a teacher forever, and that was one of the things she always would keep. She would keep stuff that had shelf life. And peanut butter was a big one. Crackers because she taught in a community that had a lot of that going on, right? And I think teachers and coaches, those are two frontline defenses right there that see it firsthand. That most of me, we don't see it. You know what I mean? Me and Jacob maybe a little bit because we're kind of tied into the community as well. But a lot of people go about their daily basis. They don't see it or realize it, and just the awareness factor that it kind of brings out there. That's huge. But no, where I was going to ask, what's the most butter y'all have collected? And
like at a game. Like, is that
so well, yeah, I think I got it. Yeah,
like peanut butter bowl. What's the most two teams have combined for?
Yeah. So what we do is, and we're trying to make it. I used to say we try to make it easy on the head football coaches, but now I say we try to make it simple for them. So one of the things we do is we do these media days. Maybe next year y'all can come out if it works out. But we travel around. We go to Laredo. We go to the Rio Grande Valley. Huh?
I said, say less. We're there. Yeah.
All right, good. I love it. Say less. That's funny. So we go to San Antonio, Austin, and we just continue kind of to expand around Texas and everything. But we do have, I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought, but we do have a trophy. Let me talk about the trophy. The way we try to make it simple for coaches is we say collect peanut butter like leading up to the game. Now, some coaches decide like we want to collect it at the stadium, but honestly, we're like, bring it to the school, bring it to the athletic office or the field house. And Friday night, when we've done it, and I will be out at the Piper Bernie game here in North San Antonio and Bulverde in a couple of weeks on a Thursday night, and we'll be at the gate and we'll collect any peanut butter that comes in. But a lot of times when the game rolls around, most of the peanut butter's already been given or donated online. So that's kind of how it goes. But let me get to your question. Last year, and I want to give some different numbers because the highest number is a little bit scary and intimidating, I think. But Copper's Cove, where RG3 played football, they have an assistant coach, especially Donald Buckram, who just has run with it. He's big in the community. He was a star at UTEP. He also had a cup of coffee with the Browns a little bit. And he's just really well known in the community, and he just drives it. He's just like, bring peanut butter. And so last year they set a record of 8,207 jars worth of peanut butter. So, yeah, no, that's a big number. We kind of like the tiers, like the top 5 schools. Last year we had 84 schools involved. This year we have over 100. The top 5 schools are usually bringing about 5,000 jars worth. Last year, Alamo Heights was second with 7,000. That's the second highest total easily. And then as you get down to like number 9 or 10, you're right at about 1,000. So you can kind of see like 7,000, 8,000 is a big, huge tier. And then 4,000 is a big deal. And then you get down. I mean, it's all a big deal. But then you kind of see like schools that are collecting 1,000 jars. And then honestly, we got some schools that collect 100, and that goes a long way. I mean, it just really helps. So sometimes we have schools that are like, man, I don't know if we can do it or whatever. I'm like, well, look, if you collect 5 jars, that's 5 families that are going to be fed. I mean, it's going to make a difference. So that's kind of the deal. But yeah, Justin, 8,207. And most of those, I think they collected around 5,300 actual like jars of peanut butter that showed up at Copper's Cove. Wow. But then about whatever the math is, don't get me on the math, but 2,800 jars donated online at $2 a jar. So phenomenal job them. And we just love to see they get very creative. You see different videos and you get the kids involved. And the idea, even though we use the platform of football to start, but we want all the kids involved. We want all the community involved. So it just made sense to me to start with like my 2 friendships, the coaches, and it makes sense, just peanut butter bowl. but we want the marching band involved. We want spirit involved, because if you think about it, I mean, some of these schools have 4,000 students.
Yeah.
If everybody just brought one jar, if they brought 2 jars, they break the record. I mean, basically. So we really look to the head football coach. They're usually the athletic coordinator, so they can get the other sports involved and they can get the community involved. So that's kind of how it works. But I can't wait to see if somebody beats the record this year, Justin. I don't know.
Have y'all ever thought about broadcasting it as a bragging rights mechanism as well? You may have won the game, but we brought the peanut butter.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. So definitely some schools are going kind of head to head. So this game, Piper and Bernie, like that's a great way to sort of go head to head. The other day, I was talking to Coach Elwood at Flower Bluff, and they're playing a team from Mexico. I'm sure you guys know that because you guys probably know everything down there. So he was asking me like, well, what do we do? We're not really going head to head against that team as far as peanut butter. And I said, no, but last year in the Corpus Christi area, Flower Bluff collected the most peanut butter. I can't remember the exact number. It's around almost 1,200 jars worth, something like that, which is significant. Yeah. And so I said, you're kind of also competing against all these other Corpus Christi area schools, Coastal Bend schools, just to see, I mean, who's got bragging rights. So at Media Day, when all these schools were there, I mean, I'm going to announce, I'm going to say last year, this is who had the most, Flower Bluff Hornets. And so that's a part of it too. And then definitely what you said, Justin, I mean, we see like online battles. We've got, just communities that they see like, Dripping Springs is given this much and they're like, oh, they're not going to give more than us. So then they start to give more and it's really cool. So there's definitely the head to head element. And then the championship trophy we award, we started that 4 years ago. And so it's a rotating trophy. You don't get to keep it for always. There's one trophy. And we just engraved the new name every year. And right now, Copper's Cove obviously has it. And I know a bunch of schools are going to want to try to beat them on that. So that's a part of it too, is the bragging rights. And we just try to make it fun. We know these guys are competitive and it is fun. But I remember a few years ago when Coach Peterson at Madison won it, which was really awesome. He said, next year, I hope I come in 10th place. Because he said, I know the Madison Mavericks are going to collect 5,000 jars of peanut butter. So if there's 9 other schools that collect more, I'm all for it. And that's just the kind of attitude we see from all these coaches. It's great.
Yeah, no, that's a good market to tap into for something like this because BJ know really well. The coaching network will get you a lot of places really fast with connections and meeting people. I mean, we're talking right now. We saw Peanut Butter Bowl 3 years later. We're here doing the show with you, right? Which is awesome. And that's through coaching networks and football and stuff. And then when you take the platform as football, which is the biggest competitive sport in Texas. 2, it's not only just a team, it's a town for most places around here or a community of where you live in, like in San Antonio, right? Alamo Heights, that's going to be their community. They're going to support it. And then, like marching bands tied into that, cheers tied into that. You're going to get volleyball tied into that. Basketball will show up. Baseball will show up. And, man, that's everything you said in that. That just hits the nail right. Boom, boom, boom. Around the head. And, man, that's pretty kick-ass, when you really make, like the competitive drive that everyone has to make that happen.
Yeah. So and we see some. Oh, go ahead, Jacob.
Are they allowed to bring it all the week of the game, like all week, or is it just once the gates open, that's it?
No. So I mean, again, like for some of the schools, they may not even collect at the game itself. So because we do our media days usually in late July, it kind of kicks it off right then. And of course, we've been doing this in San Antonio a long time, but all the TV networks come out and cover it, and they talk in terms of like, well, we're kicking off the high school football season because it's Peanut Butter Bowl media day. And so really, I mean, people start giving online right then. And then it just depends on like the coach and the principal, the administration. You could wait until the very week of the game, or you could say, hey, bring it to the scrimmage, bring it around, all the different options.
So you've got a comment in here, Javier Guzman saying Alice versus Carroll. That's a Peanut Butter Bowl game. So could those guys start now? Can they start now?
Yes. I've seen some donations coming in online. Sometimes it's hard for me because I get the notifications on all the online giving, but I don't know what they're doing at the campus until after the game. They get it counted, they get it weighed out. But we're really excited to have the Alice Coyotes, and Coach Netherland and the Tigers did it last year. They came in a little bit late. This is cool because I think he reached out to me maybe 10 days before the game, 12 days maybe, and was like, hey, can we do this? We're like, yeah, let's go. So that's going to be fun. The Alice community, Coach Cassiano, just got to talk to him a little bit, and he's excited for media day. He sent Coach Tinker, I believe.
Yeah,
Very large man.
Yeah. And you know what? One of the things we created, I gave to coaches, I know y'all won't be able to see it on here, but I called it a call sheet. I see the glare on there, but and one of the number one things is like identify an assistant coach with juice. Like this is how you can make it happen. Well, Coach Tinker, man, he showed up with juice, man. He just brought it and just brought excitement. We got some photos of him like with peanut butter, like Heisman Trophy pose and everything. And you could just tell, like, I've heard a lot about the Alice community. I've got a really good friend, Matt Garcia. He's an assistant coach at Johnson High School in San Antonio. He's an Alice Coyote. He got me in contact with the head coach, in fact. And there's something special, about these communities. So I can't wait to see what they do.
So once the season kicks off, it's not too late to sign up to be a peanut butter bowl game.
Well, what we decided a few years ago, and remember, I'm not the smartest guy, so Coach Ritteman really came up with a great idea, is it's always opening weekend.
Okay.
So it's only opening weekend. So that way it's kind of fair. People get a little competitive. There's a couple different reasons we do it like that, but people get competitive. So we would give this trophy, but some teams were playing their first weekend, and then some were playing like week 6. And the week 1 people were like, well, that's no fair. We collected our peanut butter and now they get a trophy because they had 6 weeks to collect peanut butter. So we moved it to the opening weekend. And also it kind of gets less confusing. Like some of the other games that you might play, you kind of forget, like, now who are we playing for in that game for that cause? And so this one's just your week 1 opponent. We asked the head coaches. So like in this case, Coach, if we had talked to Coach Netherland before I got to talk to Coach Cassiano, I would have said, hey, could you reach out to your opposing coach and ask him, would he do peanut butter bowl? That's the natural way that we grow, is we say, hey, head coach, you reach out to your opposing coach. He's going to trust you, and you tell him peanut butter bowl is a good thing. It's not me like cold calling and saying, hey, I do this thing.
So it's like it's like a grassroots movement then to get this thing going. Huh.
It really is. That's the growth. I could probably like make a coaching tree of where peanut butter bowl has grown, whether it's Laredo and then the Laredo Nixon coach, reaching out to Coach Charlton at Ray, whatever the case is. That is where our growth has come. I kind of half joke like around Coach Ritteman and say, if it was just me, we'd probably maybe just have one game still. But because like Coach Ritteman and, Coach Barone and Coach Sanchez, because they reach out, it's just different. They're getting a text from a head football coach saying this is a good thing. And the next thing you know, they're doing it. So, and I got to give hats off to Coach Charlton because there was a little breakdown in miscommunication when Coach Cabello at Laredo Nixon, somehow they didn't talk about peanut butter bowl, but I thought they had. This a couple years ago when we first got down there. So I got Coach Charlton's number and I called him up, assuming that he had like heard about peanut butter bowl. So I was like, this is Steve Teel with peanut butter bowl. And it was pretty quiet. And I was like, is this the first time you're hearing about peanut butter bowl? And he said, yes. But I explained like 2 minutes and he's like, oh, we're in, we'll do this every year. And Coach Charlton this year hosted media day, which was a blast. We had West Oso was out there, Santa Gertrudis, the King Mustangs, Flower Bluff wasn't able to make it, but the Tigers made it. Alice made it. It was a party. The West Oso coach, assistant coach came, Zubia, and he told me we need to have it at West Oso because we got the best band. We'll bring the band. It'll be like a huge thing. So
they're pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. All right, I got to see that, man. I got to pick a game and get down to Corpus and see some of these teams.
Oh, definitely. Well, I mean, week 1's a good one, but that would have been a great one. That Miller Vets game as a Peanut Butter Bowl game.
Yeah,
that would have been a good one.
That's the one you need to pencil on, because right there, that's going to bring a automatic head-to-head. We want to outdo them. And Vets,
definitely.
You ever see Vets and Flower Bluff on the schedule that way? That'd be a good one.
Yeah, okay.
They don't really open up week 1. I mean, that's the only thing, right? It's week 1.
Right. It is week 1. Yeah, it's week 1. We're going to keep it week 1. Just keep it real simple. So I love that. Hopefully next year they come on and we see. All right, I got a question for you guys. I know I've seen like comments, people asking, some score predictions, but I want your prediction, if you will. I don't want you to, lose your audience, get them angry, but who do you predict is going to maybe bring the most peanut butter? If I name those teams again, Alice, Carroll, Flower Bluff, King, Ray, Santa Gertrudis, and West Oso, who do you think is going to win Corpus Christi for Peanut Butter Bowl this year?
I think it's going to be a repeat champion.
All right.
Yeah.
We got Alice, and we got Flower Bluff. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything to back that up? I mean, just a feeling.
You got Justin, the juice coach.
You got what? Oh, you got the juice coach. Is that what he said? That's what. No, you know what? I think Flower Bluff really takes pride in this kind of stuff. I mean, they're always doing something, right? They're always doing something. So I think they're going to try to beat their record from last year. I don't think they're going to be happy with the number that they had, and they're going to try to exceed it. That's what I think.
I could see 2,000 from them easy.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. And now hopefully that the awareness is out now, right? Because a lot of folks don't have social media still, right? They still use landlines, right? So they have no idea that this thing's even happening, right? If the communication is not there, I mean, so I think hopefully it gets a little more word of mouth and things like that. And I think it helped, because a lot of folks were sharing that media day stuff when it was out there. We saw Coach Charlton's, we saw Senator SGA's, and Alice's and Carol's. So I mean, it's getting out there, and when we share it all the time. Because I think it's a great cause.
Yeah, well, I want to say thanks. Yeah, I want to say thanks to you guys, just for helping us spread the word. It means a lot, as soon as you reached out, Jacob. I mean, I see your guys' posts and stuff. I know y'all have a wide reach. So just knowing that, y'all were on board and spreading the word just really means a lot. So it helps. So, I mean, it's hard to quantify, like, how many more families or how many more kids are going to be fed, because you're even predicting like Flower Bluff is going to do 2,000. Like if the word gets out to Flower Bluff, like we got to get 2,000, they're going to answer the call. So, and Alice is going to be like, Justin thinks we're going to win. Let's go. Let's go.
They think I think they're going to lose. So of course they're going to try to prove the other one wrong, right? So hopefully everybody wins in this one, right? Hopefully this game is your max winner for the season, right? Let's hope that, right? That's the best.
That's right. That's right. And we have a saying with Peanut Butter Bowl. It's something from the very beginning. I just say we all win at the end. I mean, but now it's when we feed people in need, we all win. And going back to the two coaches, the young coach that had never lost in 1,000 years at Allen and then loses his head coaching debut. The next year when we did Peanut Butter Bowl, he's going to hate me saying this, but they lost again to Johnson and Rittiman. But after the game, I saw him down on the field, and of course, coaches. I mean, he was disappointed. He wanted to win more than anything, but he did say, like, "Well, we did something good. We all win." So I was like, "Man, mission accomplished. We're on our way."
Absolutely.
Justin, you got anything else?
Nah, man. Steve knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, these are easy, Steve. You got guys like you that start doing the heavy lifting, man, and we just kind of sit back and listen, and we can pop in a question here or there. I mean, that's gravy.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but I really appreciate you guys both helping out. It's going to make a big difference, and I'm excited. I want to talk to y'all before we come down and do Media Day, and I want to get you word on who has the most out of Corpus when all the numbers are in, just so you can, celebrate them with us as well.
Absolutely. Bragging rights on the show.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, we'll make bragging, but maybe we'll make a graphic for it too, right? Maybe we'll see what happens, right? So we'll see.
Love it.
We'll see.
Love it. Thank you guys. Thanks a lot.
No, thank you again, Steve. Thanks for taking this. Steve was supposed to come on last weekend, but things got hectic over here on our end, so we couldn't make it last week. And at least we got it in before week 1, right? So the season starts in a couple weeks, and that was our goal, was to get you on before the season started, kind of explain it, because I was scratching my head. I was like, okay, what exactly I understand they feed feed the need, but how? How does this work? So thank you for coming on, man. We really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you guys. Great job. Love the show. Looking forward to more. So yeah, I'll be following y'all. Good stuff.
Thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Man. Thanks a lot.
Steve, you have a good night, and
guys-
check in, man. Let us know. Shoot us a DM or something. Let us
know how it goes.
Kind of give us a sneak peek on what's going on after week one, and we're good at keeping secrets. We don't break news. We pride ourselves on that, so we can keep a secret. Okay,
I love it.
You guys watching, we keep secrets. There's a lot of stuff y'all don't know that we know. Okay, that's all we're gonna say.
That's funny. I'll keep you in the know.
Okay, thanks, Steve. We'll see you later.
Thanks, you guys.
Yep, thank you, dude. That's pretty solid. I like the idea, and it's working. Right,
absolutely, man.
And you kind of said it. You talked about how your aunt, she worked at an economically disadvantaged district. I didn't get to tell them, but you guys know, I'm a school board member here in Odom. We're an economically disadvantaged community as well, right? So we get to see that stuff all the time, right? So our Lions Club here, they started it's called a backpack initiative, right? So Joan, I'm giving you a shout out here. Steve McConn's wife from the plant. Okay. So she's like the headline here, right, for the area, and they started this backpack initiative where they provide backpacks for children full of food for the weekend, because once they leave school on Friday, when's their next meal, right?
Exactly. No, I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize. There's a lot of kids out there, dude, that they go through some stuff that adults wouldn't want to go through, right? So. The backpack initiative, that's cool, man. I think another school around here has done that before, where they talk about, it might not be hey, it's me, I need it, but it's kind of, here you go, like
and man, this was a few years. Raina was still in elementary. I went to pick her up, and my wife's making fun of me right now.
Dude, don't do it, dude.
So
all right.
I mean, so. I was in the office picking her up, and this line of kids comes down the hallway, and they're getting these backpacks. And if I was just an everyday person just in there to pick up my kid, I would have known what it was. But the Lions Club speaks at school board meetings to tell us what's going on when they start the year and stuff like that, and I knew what it was.
Yeah.
And it just tugs at your heart, man. It's good to see these kids being taken care of. Yeah. You know what I mean?
No, it's tough, dude. There's a lot of things like that, and I'm a softie too, so you make me cry. But you see an adult go through it's one thing, right? When you see a kid go through it has no option, right, or no choice, it's tough, dude. And I have two little boys, and they're overly spoiled, right? So any chance we get to, like, I tell them all the time, I'm like, hey man, we're gonna clean some toys out, right? Christmas is coming, Santa's coming. We're gonna clean some toys out for some kids that they might not get a toy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. I try to do it that way, and we've partaken in things of doing the things off the tree and stuff like that. So when you see stuff like the peanut butter bowl, right, it's something that, like, I don't see how you can pass it up. And most of the coaches we know, I guarantee you, who asks any coach down here in the Coastal Bend that we know, they would immediately hop on it right off the bat.
Yeah. I mean, I would. I want to make it look. Let's try this. For next season, because obviously it's late, but I'd like to see if we can get every opening week in the Coastal Bend to do this.
Do a peanut butter bowl?
Yeah.
I bet we could do it.
Let's try it, right? So, coaches, if you guys are watching, and if you see this on the replay, actually, you know what? I'll make this a reel, just that little section there, and I'll start putting that out just as a 10, 15-second reel. Get on board, guys. It's you have nothing to lose, right? No. And like Steve said, everybody wins at the end, right? Regardless of the outcome of the game, everybody wins at the end.
Absolutely. It's insane the amount of organic growth they've had already, but like it starts with things like this, right? And we've done a lot of things for the show and different things that benefit kids or the show, but I mean that's a huge one to benefit not only the show but and the kids that come on the show, but the community that they live in as well. And who knows, man, there could be kids on that team that they're struggling with a little bit of stuff going on at home as well that might benefit from it.
Yeah,
Yep. So
some of their players, not just little kids, some of their players.
Exactly, the players.
Yeah.
You have no idea, man. Yeah, absolutely. I'm on board for sure for that. That's a good one right there. I guarantee you any coach we ask will be fully involved.
Oh
No
yeah,
doubt.
yeah.
No doubt.
That's our goal. Let's have the biggest media day that Peanut Butter Bowl has in the area. Right.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think that's about it. Oh, hang on, John. Tell me if I'm pronouncing your name right. If you're still online, Shrubar. Yeah. So, I'm an Odom guy. I say that all the time. He said no feedback, right? So I guess because I wasn't answering his question, I was telling a story, John. I was in deep talking about my skateboarding, talking about my vacation. I also CrossFit. Don't forget that. I also CrossFit too. I'm a man of many interests. I'm like the world's most interesting man. Okay,
Oh my God.
just I'm old. I had gout, man. See, I mean, yeah, see, that's the other thing. So I'm skateboarding, and I had gout, right?
Don't
So,
let the gout flare back up.
yes, and Justin's a GP guy, and John, I don't know, maybe you're new to the show, but we do weekly game predictions. We list the game, we list what 10 games out that we look out for the week,
Yep.
and we do our predictions for the week. So that's kind of old hat for us, dude. Um, but thank you for giving some feedback on that, and again, but let us know what you guys liked about the live show. Let us know if you'd like to see more, um, and we'll see what we can do.
Yep.
But I think other than that, I think we're done, dude.
Yeah, no, it's getting closer. It's almost that time.
It is what 2 weeks, right? Well, so scrimmages are tonight. I didn't realize there were scrimmages tonight.
Yes, sir.
Somebody had asked about the Cal Allen Miller scrimmage. I hadn't heard any updates yet. Orange Grove is scrimmaging tonight. Who else? There was a handful of games, 5-6 games at least, that were scrimmaging tonight. So they're going on. If I had known that last week, I would have probably pushed this. I couldn't have done it yesterday. I was working nights.
I think
We,
it's
we,
good.
we would have figured something out. Yeah, so today's good. This will definitely get a lot of hits on the replay, I think. And
Yeah.
like I said, I'll just start cutting this up and start putting reels out about some of the higher points that Steve was talking about, and just
Absolutely.
try to get more awareness out there. So you guys, if you guys see it, you guys see this, share it, man. Share the heck out of it, and let's try to get the word out. Guys, thank you for tuning in. We went a little longer than we had to, but it was good. It was good content.
It was good, man. It was a really good conversation.
Yeah, and we will try. I'm on days next week, so we should be able to knock one out next Thursday if we get one. If anything, we may take a down week, just to because we still have not picked our games where we're going, at least for the first 4 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll take next week off, kind of figure that out, and we'll come back week 1 with a vengeance, right? Just kind of throw everything out.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Steve Teel, for coming on and educating us on the Peanut Butter Bowl and the audience. And we'll see you guys either next week or the week after. Oh, hang on. Yeah, see, I always mess everything up. All right, we'll see you guys.